and listening to this grand theme of Final Fantasy. It is time to start a new Final Fantasy Let's Play. This time, that which was in US first known as Final Fantasy 2, because it was the second Final Fantasy game to get translated. And then after 7th, aka Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 6 was Final Fantasy 3 in America. They would start to translate the earlier ones and just basically shuffle the orders around so people would not get confused at what Final Fantasy game they are referring to when they mean something like Final Fantasy 3 or 2 or 3. Although Final Fantasy 1 is always everywhere Final Fantasy 1 or just Final Fantasy. So let's just start Final Fantasy 4. First on 16-bit platforming, and so far to say, 3 games on on Basic NES had shown that, well, Squaresoft and Nintendo are a strong team. So let's see how this one goes further and starts. And I have played through this game before, but it is not my personal favorite of Final Fantasy games, not even from the 2D era. But it is still, well, all Final Fantasy games except 2 and 13 are great games. And even 2 is decent and 13 is good. So that should tell how great the team Squaresoft is. But without further ado, it now begins Final Fantasy 4. And this kind of start is known as in medias res, meaning it starts right from the action, no establishing or anything like that. And even though this quick beginning has already shown quite a lot of how a game works, it has introduced this Captain Cecil. It mentioned that there is a place called Mysidia and Baron, and there's Air Force, and there are airships. Plenty of, you could say, elements already shown, and crystals as well, and they were prominent in Final Fantasy 1 and 3. While the earlier Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy 2 did have some kind of bit more, you could say, action in the beginning, but Final Fantasy 1 and 3 had very sedate starts, but this one right from the action. These kind of castle things are quite old in Final Fantasy games. And I do remember watching reading contemporary reviews, because then there wasn't so much of video reviews about console gaming. It was very much niche and children's market. Although it was starting to get more legitimacy in then. Oh, and looks like King is plotting something. Or to say King seems to be evil King who is scheming. And right now, let's just look at the configurations. Did I have the smooth? Oh yes, now the smoothing going on. Looks a bit better. And of course, because it's a pixel remaster version, there's this mini-map, and already there's big plot events of happening. Like, we established what Cecil was, he is, and then he's shown to have some sort of, well, he's shown to be having personal integrity, and because of that he's been fired from his position, and delivering a bomb ring sounds very much that kind of mission that he's hoped to fail and die. So yeah, King seems to be quite much an evil king. But so let's just open this door, which gives us access to some of treasure chests inside. Yeah, thank you. And I do say that Nobuo Uematsu did not fail when it was matter of composing music to this game. I don't think he has ever really done really badly composing music to Final Fantasy games, but well, not all Final Fantasy games are perfect, but and then there's a mention of Sid, who makes airships, and that is very common trope in Final Fantasy games, that there's a Sid who is either somehow technologically involved with airships or other big fancy things. But not all, and another character introduced. Rosa. That's actually quite a beautiful name. Even though, well, I don't consider. And we have very traditional looking Final Fantasy black mages and white mages. So, graphically they did not do much of. Yep, we've established at least 4 peculiar characters. We have established there's Cecil, there's Kane, there's Sid, and there's Rosa. All are quite important, or better say they all will be very important characters in longer run. So it's time to rest, to make the plot start really going on. Yep, looks like Cecil is not the only one who smells a rat, and he also seems to be very doubtful. And there's a real romantic side plot, meaning that the characters are also well, they are not particularly, you could say, deep characters in this game, but they are made some, well, they are more deep than in previous Final Fantasy games. Although I would say that Final Fantasy VII would be the one who would really establish how grim the story was. And we got a summary of what has already happened. And some background story. Well, when you are the only one with air transport. Well, they obviously are some sort of strategic resource. And if they shine a light, they're an energy source. Just like Dead Space markers. They irradiate. But because they irradiate without a obvious power source, they are theoretically an infinite energy source used for whatever purpose. So, try to get them would be rational. Infinite fuel. But with this, it is time to end the first episode of Final Fantasy IV. Well, because, well, story has already been established, so... And there's a world map to be seen, which is quite big, and all kinds of... There's forest, desert, mountain, plain, all kinds of... some sort of... shallow waters or all kinds of map elements already visible in here, plus map, castles and towns. So nothing in a sense new, and so far game hasn't given anything really groundbreaking at this for this phase of the series. So, but it's still time to end this episode right here after I will demonstrate a fight. Against goblins. And Kane has a Raccoon's special ability of jumping, meaning he can jump into the air, cause a lot of damage, but no, it's not necessary. And well, Cecil gets to more character in development in this game, but time to end this episode right now. See you next time. See ya.